Today, I'm gonna show you the side of Santo Domingo you've never seen before. How you can live the kind of life reserved for the most premier cities in the most premier neighborhoods for a fraction of the cost. In fact, later on, I'm gonna show you apartments in the building I'm standing in right now, and you won't believe the price you pay for the level of quality that you get. Let's dive in. The city of Santo Domingo is about 4 million people, making it a real true urban center in a country like the Dominican Republic. To get a perspective, here's a view from up above so you can get a sense of just the sprawl of this incredible city. Now, while it's near the ocean, you can see it from these high up buildings. Beach life is, a 20 to 30 minute drive, depending on traffic, to parts outside the city where you can go and do that whole Dominican Republic thing. But while many YouTube videos will show you how you can live on $10 a day, or what it's like to go through the most dangerous hood in the country and the city, most don't realize that there is a Manhattan-like center to this city that's big and sprawling and large, where people from countries like the United States, Canada, and even European nations may not realize that they can live well and even a high-end luxury life and have every amenity and more within walking distance. And while any big city has its most dangerous hood, what doesn't get advertised and talked about enough is how much of this city is walkable without worrying. I mean, even some of the stuff that's happening in the city, like when I went around this corner here, you wouldn't believe what I saw on the other side of that. But first, let me tell you about the part of the city that I'm in right now, so you get a sense of what it's like. Piantini sits right in the middle of the downtown area and has a ton of stuff to do for residents or visitors alike. I'll start with Blue Mall. Blue Mall is a top-notch mall with every high-end store that you can ever imagine having in any mall in the United States or Canada or Europe. In fact, one of my favorite restaurants in the world sits right in this mall. It's called Olivia. I recently had dinner there with a friend of mine named Daniel Fernandez, who is a world-renowned magician who chooses to reside here in country, to give you an idea. And the food that we ate, round after round of meal, was incredible. Even outside of Olivia restaurant in the center of the mall, when you look up, you see these different panels along the sides of the ceiling. These are all artwork. They indicate the different elements out there: fire, wind, earth, water. I mean, when people think about a country like the Dominican Republic and call it like, oh, it's just some little third world place, do you think the attention to that kind of detail exists in a place that's just trying to get by everywhere? In addition, at Blue Mall, right above it, there's this entire World Trade Center complex, which has commercial buildings, apartment buildings, you name it. And just a little bit up the road is another premier mall called the Acropolis Mall. In fact, my kid's allergist is in this mall. It's more of a business center with some shopping and restaurants or whatever on the lower floors. And then let's go a little further on some of the restaurants you get here. Pepperoni is one of the top restaurants in country, one of the oldest fine dining establishments you can go to here. A favorite of mine is Laurel, another place that I had a great sit down with my buddy Juan Reyes for my podcast called Grub with Gruber. There's also Toro, a steak place I truly enjoy, and many, many more spots. And wait till I tell you what's coming here to the building I'm sitting in right now. So if the walkability of Piantini, the top-notch restaurants, the multiple luxury malls, the culture and art scene here weren't enough, remember when I was turning that corner? This is what I saw. Just a little something to ride in, Get around the city. What's even crazier is Lamborghini just announced that they're bringing a dealership here to Santo Domingo as well. And that's not all. It's not as if the Piantini neighborhood exists in a little shell and there's nothing around it that's nice. Quite the contrary. When you go to Naco, Gazcue, Bella Vista, Casicascos, all of these neighborhoods are premier, with all the shopping amenities and everything else I just talked about. But in addition, there are premier bilingual international schools that range anywhere from 8 to 20,000 per kid per year. And here's the kicker. There are tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people living in this country, in this city, taking advantage of this luxury lifestyle. And wait till you hear the price. Blows my mind. But first I want to show you another part of the city that you may not be familiar with. This is like Europe in the Caribbean, with parks and shopping and restaurants and everything. In fact, I recently ate at this incredible restaurant called Parkside, which has one 18-seat table. They do one seating per night. All ingredients, materials, and restaurant design are sourced locally from Dominican products, artisans, and more. And for just $200, you get a 12-course insane tasting menu with a chef who's gotten international acclaim for this concept named Olivier Bourre. It's B-U-R. I want to say Burr, but you get it. And then for premier drinks and amazing local dancing, merengue dancing in particular, you got to go to Hasta la Tambora in Zona Colonial, where you'll have a blast and some of the best drinks you can have in the entire city. So if someone's going to exist in such luxury, they need to have luxury accommodations, wouldn't you say? That's where I'm sitting right now, actually. It's a building called Parkside, which is nearly complete. It'll be done late in 2026. And let me show you around a little bit. First off, outside, they were very intentional with leaving a lot of sidewalk space, which is a little bit look different in Santo Domingo. You see this in New York and in Boston, but you can see how wide these sidewalks are. And they're placing this piece of art right here on the corner of the sidewalk for the neighborhood to enjoy. Gives a real nice flair, wouldn't you say? This place has 180 total condos. It's mostly sold out. I think they have like 20 or 30 left. And here's a really, really cool thing they're bringing to this building. 2 separate restaurant concepts from really, really interesting restaurant owners. The first, which will sit right here, is going to be an osteria run by a gentleman named Saverio Stasi, one of the most well-known chefs in the country. And the other will be sort of a bistro restaurant vibe, brought to you by the folks that own Storia, which is a coffee shop cafeteria here in Santo Domingo. But then we went inside, into this lobby, which is obviously still being built, but they've got woodwork in the lobby to make sure it feels high-end. And you'll see through this entire building very high ceilings. It just feels open. Even in this room I'm in, the ceilings are high. We started off on the terrace level, where you gotta check out this incredible view. Doesn't this just feel like a downtown New York, downtown Boston type of vibe? You can see all the residential buildings all around you. I really enjoyed taking in the view up here. Back over here, you're going to have the pool. You can see they're still working on it currently. And then inside this first room we're coming to, they're doing a kids club for teens, for kids, TVs, kind of just a nice networking space. Over on this other side is something that you don't see in these luxury buildings. I don't know if you see them in any of them here. Who knows? But that is a co-working space, fully outfitted with bathrooms and showers for only residents of this building. I mean, when you see the view in here, this is a pretty cool place to get to work. Inside it, they even have these conference rooms. So if you wanted to get a conference space, you could use that as well, if you had a meeting or whatever it might be. And then over here, we went into what they call like a mixed use space, or like a gathering space where the resident can rent it if you want to have a big party or throw a celebration or a birthday or whatever it might be. And through these doors, there is a gym that'll be over 1,000 square feet in size, fully equipped with these locker rooms. And in the locker rooms, there's not only space for towels and bathrooms and all of that, but showers as well that anyone in the building that's using the gym can use. And by the way, from everything I could tell, it's about $2 a square meter for the HOA or maintenance fee, but you'd have to talk to them to get clarity on that. Then we went up to the 24th floor because I had to see what's the view look like from up here. And I'll tell you right now, I wasn't disappointed. The biggest challenge with a view like this is while it looks great on camera, you won't believe it. You can't believe what it looks like from the naked eye. You ever have that experience where you're trying to capture something and you're like, the camera just can't quite get it the way I'm seeing it right now? That was this experience. But where we're standing right now, this floor is still being redone, as you can see, but you get a sense of what it might look like. And then we hopped in the elevator, we went down to the 5th floor so we could get a real sense of what it looks like and check this out. You know, again, folks, remember, we're talking luxury, not just in a building, luxury. To me, seeing hallways this wide, ceilings this high, the types of fixtures, the woodwork, all of it, the attention to detail. Going back to that terrace, all the stuff that they had there, the co-working space, the common room, the gym, the lockers, the showers in the gym. And even they were telling me about this marble floor in the terrace that was like imported from someplace in Spain. If folks that know luxury and want to live in a luxury space know that those sorts of details really, really matter. But let's check out a few of these apartments. This first one is a 1-bedroom apartment that they showed me, which is decked out so you get a sense of the space in it. It's about 800 square feet, 70-something square meters. And I was kind of blown away by the bed size and the table size. To give you a sense of the size of the bedroom, look at how wide these tables are. And then you've got a king bed and then another table on the other side, which gives you a really good run of space. Bathroom, closet, nice kitchen, nice spot. Oh, also has a pretty decent view. At least I think so. Went to a second 1-bedroom that's a little bit larger. You can see the layout and the space is similar. You have the king bed, you have the closet, you have the bathroom, but this bathroom, I had to sit down. What can I tell you? It looked comfy. Then we came here to the one I'm sitting in right now. This is a 2-bedroom condo, which I think is really well laid out. I went through the living, dining, and kitchen area to start. I thought this was really cool in bedroom number 1. Just set up well for kids. If you have kids, you see a room like this, it just makes you smile. But the master bedroom, tell you what, I had a reaction. I mean, look, I'm sitting right now in the dining area and check this out. Like if you love urban living, that is a skyline like you would get in any metropolitan area, any city that you would say, man, I'd love to live there. But I can't wait until you hear the comparison in price. Amazing. Where was I? Oh yeah, the master bedroom. Here's what it looks like. Really beautiful. Check out the large bed, the view outside, nice bathroom, Nice sized closet with the shelving and everything already in it. I love looking at this stuff, guys. I love getting into these buildings and just seeing what this country has to offer. And when I get to see like high-end stuff that's built with luxury in mind, I don't know, it just elevates for me the possibility for many people who may say,
Dominican Republic, is that really a spot that I can have kind of like a life that I want to enjoy? Or is it all dirt roads and stuff?
In fact, I'll tell you this, before I came here today on one of the posts I did on Instagram, somebody asked me like, is there a highway from Punta Cana to Santo Domingo? And I was like, yes, of course. I was like, when's the last time you were here? And the guy said, yeah, no, but like, is it dirt? I was like, no, it's a highway. In fact, I've gone from Punta Cana on one end to Monte Cristi on the other end. No dirt roads, all highway or paved like what you would call like county roads in the United States. Just two-way streets, some speed bumps, some little towns. That's it. So while you can watch all the videos you want on this neighborhood, high crime, or that cheap area to go, there's this gap where people don't talk about how much luxury there is in country, whether it's in Santo Domingo or many other places here. All right, so how much does luxury cost you in Santo Domingo? Well, let's look at some comparisons first. If you look at a premier neighborhood like Brickell in Miami, you can find a wide range, but for a building with similar amenities of similar age, you're looking at properties like these, around $750,000 for a one-bedroom. Now, if you go into a New York neighborhood, a premier one like Hudson Yards, which would be comparable to a Piantini in Santo Domingo as far as the premier neighborhood, a one-bed, one-bath will run you about $850,000 and up. And by the way, no amenities in that building whatsoever. This is just like a 6-unit walk-up building with an $850,000 one-bedroom apartment in it. So for luxury in a comparable Santo Domingo neighborhood of Piantini, in this building, Parkside, all the amenities we saw, the access to all those restaurants, the walkability, and living a really good life, in this building, it'll start at 300 grand. Add in a couple $100 for an HOA, and I don't know, you're living pretty well. Now look, the developer of this building has been here for a lot of years. They've developed 25 projects and have 4 in production right now, including this one. So they check a couple of boxes. That is that they're local and they have completed full cycle projects. But I think it's important to have perspective on ways to make sure developers you're working with are good. So I made this video right here for you to watch that give you all of my criteria. Doesn't make me right, but it's at least something where you can start to use it. And before I came here, I applied it to Grupo GHR, who runs this building, and they passed for me. Hope you enjoy it. I'll see you on the next one.